The college football playoff bracket is set and it is loaded with talent. The first round matchups are very up and down, but we'll look at it. First matchup is the 12th ranked James Madison sneaking in after a Duke win against Virginia, knocking Virginia out, heads to Eugene in one of the loudest environments in college football. Oregon is a 21.5 point favorite. I don't think anyone here is expecting the Dukes to upset the Ducks. But when you look at this matchup, Beckett, what stands out to you from this matchup, and what do you expect from this game?
When I look at this matchup, there's one question that comes in my head. How did we get here? Like, is this seriously, is this what we're doing? Or we're sending in a team like JMU, mind you, has had a phenomenal season against Oregon in the first round in Eugene? It's the most unfair thing in the world. And you have a bunch of 80-year-olds who are choosing this. It is the most outdated system possible. The college football committee has not figured it out. Like, I understand they've tried, they've gone through their trials, they haven't figured it out. Um, I feel bad for JMU, dude. Like, how do you prepare for this? You're going into the one of the hardest stadiums in college football to play in, arguably, if not the hardest, outside of the SEC. Like, this is sad. And seeing a 21.5 point spread in the college football playoffs is something that should have never, ever, ever, ever existed. It frustrates me. As much as I would love to see a Cinderella stories just don't happen like that in college football. Like, yeah, Washington happened. Like, outside of that, like, there hasn't been any. It's not March Madness. It doesn't work like that. It never has worked like that. So the fact that they think that a team like JMU can walk into Eugene, bro, like, it's unbelievable. Dan Lanning's going to absolutely destroy James Madison University.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. And like you said, it's an outdated system, and this is only year two of the 12-team playoff. Every single person would rather see either Notre Dame or Vanderbilt playing against Oregon. The spread would probably be under a touchdown. It would be a much better game, and two premier brands, at least if it was Notre Dame and Oregon, two premier brands. With Vanderbilt, very exciting fan favorite team going against Oregon, who's also a fan favorite team from the Jersey side. So I think the fans are getting robbed of good matchups for this DEI system that was put in place for this. I like how they did this year. The top four teams are the top four teams and get the bye. I think we can all agree that's a good format. That is merit based. But when it comes to this is an old system based on the five conferences, and everyone here would much rather see a Notre Dame or a Vanderbilt in this situation. But additionally, on this, James Madison coach Bob Chesney is now the UCLA head coach. And we'll get into the Tulane situation because Tulane's the same way. These group of five teams that are getting in here, their head coaches are split between two schools. And this is going to consistently happen until the playoff is updated. It's outdated and it's only year two. Just a sorry situation. No one's going to want to watch this game. It's going to be a blowout, and it's not going to bring good viewership. It's not going to bring ratings. It's not going to bring money in. And it really is just a cupcake thing, kind of like how Ohio State had this last year. But even that was Tennessee, at least a big brand. In this case, it's just a sorry sack of you know what. But like I mentioned, Tulane in the next matchup is Tulane heads to Ole Miss. This is two schools whose coaches have both left. Tulane's coach has gone on to Florida, is still remaining to coach Tulane, and Ole Miss's coach, as we all know, has left to LSU and is not with the team. Pete Golding, the defensive coordinator, now the head coach. Ole Miss is still a 17.5 point favorite in another group of five matchup versus a Power 2 conference team. In this matchup, another blowout expected, but maybe slightly better of a matchup. What are you expecting from this game and the storylines of two coaches that have both left their programs in the playoffs.
Those guys in Oxford are pissed off at Lane Kiffin. Like those guys hate Lane Kiffin. I think they are outside of Ohio State and Georgia. Ole Miss might be the hungriest team in this playoff. Like I think Ole Miss is going to win this game, no questions asked. It might be a little bit better of a matchup than JMU, but Tulane does not deserve to be in this. Same goes with JMU. Like the fact that we can go through every single game on the Vanderbilt schedule, and every single game will be evidence on why Tulane should not be in this. JMU should not be in this. I It's unbelievable. It's like we just said, it's outdated. It's incorrect. It's not how it should be. I mean, I don't think a 21-year-old should be able to point this out and say this is not right. But here I am saying this is not right at all. It's unbelievable. Um, it's so unfair. It's the most unfair thing in the world. If I'm Vanderbilt, if I'm Notre Dame, I think Vanderbilt more than Notre Dame. I think Vanderbilt should be infuriated by this, and I know they are. It's unfair. It's completely unfair. Tulane does not deserve to be in this. JMU does not deserve to be in this. Great seasons. Great seasons. Good job, guys. You guys do not deserve to be in the college football playoffs over a team like Notre Dame and a team like Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt had one of the most impactful seasons in college football. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And I don't get it. Tulane, great season, but you don't stand a chance against these hungry, hungry, hungry Ole Miss football players.
I 100% agree with that. I think we're getting robbed of two great matchups to see a Notre Dame at Ole Miss matchup, to see a Vanderbilt at Oregon matchup.
Oh my God.
I mean, these are very entertaining matchups, and I think it really stinks to get robbed of Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt, seeing them in the playoffs, rising really from the ashes of the SEC, the bottom of the barrel. Just a complete turnaround that Clark Lee has done with that program, and especially Diego now being a Heisman finalist heading to New York soon. So I think the fans were really robbed of that. I think when we look back, that's the part that we're going to miss the most. But also, in these first two matchups, we have three head coaches on the way out, both group of five schools, their head coaches leaving for Power Four jobs, one to UCLA, the other one to Florida, and Ole Miss's coach leaving to LSU. So all three coaches heading to other Power Two conferences, that being the SEC and the Big Ten. But I really think fans are just getting robbed of good matchups. And just like last year, we're going to see a few blowouts in the opening round of these on-campus games, which would be electric. But I think when it comes specifically to the Tulane at Ole Miss matchup, this will be closer than the spread indicates. I do think that it will be Tulane will cover the spread at least, and it'll be more of an offensive matchup when it comes to this. Ole Miss, we know, is offense, and Tulane has been able to move the ball on offense. So I think this will be a little more entertaining from a fan perspective, but I still expect Ole Miss to win this game without too much issues as they pull away in the second half. But the two next matchups are good matchups, both being top 10 matchups.
I'll pause you on that before we move on. With now, like what college football is, it's money is the center of everything in college football. I don't understand from a ratings perspective, how in the world are you putting these two matchups together? You put Notre Dame, honestly, like vice versa. Have Notre Dame go into Eugene. Oregon would be minus 2.5, 3.5. You send you said Vanderbilt down to Oxford. Dude, like Vanderbilt might shock the world in that game. They easily could. I think you have Vanderbilt at like a plus 5.5 line with that. How in the world do you decide that a minus 21.5 and a minus 17.5 matchup, how does that make any sense at all? It baffles me. I could go on for hours about this. It's It's unbelievable. It's not only unbelievable, but it's extremely disrespectful to these programs. And I understand, give teams like JMU, teams like Tulane a chance. I'm all for it, but it's just there are other teams that deserve to be in this playoff, and it's unbelievable. It's sad. We've said it many times before. It's out. It's 30 years outdated. It's unbelievable. Um, but yeah, let's get into this Miami and A&M game because this game's going to be good.
Yeah, so Miami will be heading to Texas A&M in College Station. Texas A&M is a 3.5 point favorite. Very close game, coming off of a loss versus Texas that withheld them from not only a perfect season but also a SEC championship game appearance. When it comes to this matchup, I think you could kind of go either way here. You have Carson Beck, you have Mike Elko coaching Texas A&M in his second year, taking them to the playoff, hosting a playoff game, and what's expected to be an electric atmosphere. And then Miami's going down there with the absolute gauntlet that they have on the defensive line and a pretty beefy offensive line as well. A couple first round picks on both sides of the ball. When it comes to this matchup, who do you expect to win this matchup? How close do you expect it to be?
Outside of A&M's game versus South Carolina, this could be game of the year. This could easily be game of the year. I see this game being extremely close. Um, and I'm I can't really decide fully if I see it being a low scoring game or a high scoring game. Because with the defensive power that both these teams bring to the table, I mean, dude, I could see a 10-13 finish. Either way. Um, A&M's hungry, dude. Like A&M is hungry, hungry, hungry. A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Ohio State are the hungriest teams in this playoff. Um, Miami, as I just don't like Miami this year. I don't. I was never a fan of Carson Beck at Georgia. Um, dude, losing to Louisville at home, losing to SMU in overtime at home. Man, give me the Aggies in this game. I think it's pretty clear. Like this is a upset Aggies team. Like this is a team that wants to whoop Miami and Carson Beck. Give me the Aggies. What's the spread on that game? Minus 3.5, Texas A&M.
Correct.
I the line. I mean, the line is so good. The line is so good. Um, I think a Miami plus 3.5 isn't crazy, but I do like Texas A&M in this game. I think, dude, they've been such a powerhouse this year. Like besides Texas, this is this is a powerhouse team. Like this is a team that has whooped butt this year. Although like they've had an easy schedule, I understand that. But having an easy schedule means one or two things. If you're having close games, all right, you're not that good of a team. But if you are whooping teams as you have in College Station, you're a powerhouse team. A&M's a powerhouse school. Um, give me the Aggies. Give me the Aggies. But Miami plus 3.5, I think is a very good line. Very good line.
Yeah, when it comes to this matchup and this being a home game for Texas A&M, a rowdy environment, this is what Carson Beck was brought into Miami for. He was brought in to not only go to the playoff, but to be able to win big games. Big games are not new to him. He's played in several at Georgia, which Georgia's playing in every single year. This is what he was brought into. I think that's the biggest storyline from this is Carson Beck versus the adversity. Carson Beck in the big moment. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, and it's always come down to his interceptions and turnovers. So that'll be the key to what Texas A&M can cook up on defense, see how they manipulate their scheme if they play a not a nickel and dime on him. But for me, the matchup of that I'm looking at is the head coaching matchup. I'm looking at Mario Cristobal versus Mike Elko, and that's why I'm going to decide that Texas A&M is going to win. They're going to cover. I like Texas A&M 27-17 here. If you look at the
Nice.
history, Mike Elko was at Duke before going to Texas A&M. His 2 seasons at Duke, he split with Miami. So at Duke, he split. He won 45-21 in 2022, and then he lost to Miami 53-31. So it's been high scoring when we've seen that. I'm not expecting it to be as high scoring in this one. Miami's offense is very up and down, have struggled in the latter half of the season. So I expect with both of these teams not playing in their conference championships, having weeks to prepare, they're going to be fresh. I'm expecting the ground game to play a significant part here. And I think the team that rushes for the most yards in this matchup will win. And I think that's going to be Texas A&M. I'm going to take Texas A&M here by 10 points. I think that home field
Nice.
advantage is one of the best in the nation. And I think
Nice.
this is the best matchup from the first round in my eyes and one of the best matchups of the year. I'm excited to watch it as a fan, and we'll see what happens. But we'll move on to the final matchup of the first round, the closest spread of it all, and that is number 9 Alabama facing number 8 Oklahoma, an SEC matchup. Alabama is favored by 1.5 points here. This is such a close matchup, like we mentioned previously. Kalen DeBoer, the rumors of him in Michigan. We'll see if any of those are silenced here. That could have a massive impact if Alabama loses, just when it comes to the news and the overall coaching carousel that never ends this season. But when it comes to this matchup, Alabama, Oklahoma, it's really a coin flip. It's 2 teams. One team that has an offensive identity, the other team has a defensive identity. Again, they're both SEC foes. They faced each other. Who do you like in this matchup, and what is the main thing that you are looking for in this game?
I mean, previous years looking at this, if you would have showed me this matchup in previous years, I understand Oklahoma hasn't been the strongest squad. It comes down to experience. It comes down to playoff experience. How big of a game can these guys truly perform in? Oklahoma, I mean, powerhouse defenses here. Powerhouse. They showed that against Bama. I think it comes down to experience. DeBoer missing the playoffs last year. This is his first playoff appearance. It's going to be a lot for him. It's going to be a lot. I think as much as I hate to say this, and I can see this, biting me in the butt later, but I see Oklahoma winning this game, shocking the world. Not even 48 hours after this loss, DeBoer's gone. DeBoer's gone. It's unfortunate, but it's too big of shoes to fill, and I don't think DeBoer's got that. He was a little I think he was a little too hyped up going into this job. I understand it's a big deal making an appearance in the national championship, but man, what truly has Washington done before Michael Penix Jr.? Really not a whole lot. So I think I don't think he's truly qualified for this position. I don't think he's I don't think he's prepared for this game at all. I don't think he has the team for this game, which I could be completely wrong. I mean, they could come out and whoop OU, but I think with Oklahoma's defense, this is another hungry defense. I think that's whoever is the hungriest on defense is going to win the national championship. I mean, it's been proven all throughout the year. Give me Oklahoma 17-14.
Yeah, so these teams faced off on November 15th. Oklahoma went in to Tuscaloosa, into Bryant-Denny, and won 23-21. Now are facing each other only 5 weeks apart. Alabama laid an egg in the SEC championship, especially on the offensive side of the ball against Georgia, only scoring 7 points in the second half. But like mentioned previously, Oklahoma went into Tuscaloosa and won the game, primarily winning with their defense. John Mateer has been
Who goes into Tuscaloosa and does that? No one does that. No one does that before DeBoer. No one does that. It's unbelievable. Like, I can go on for maybe 4 hours about how disappointing of a position that DeBoer has put himself in. Like it's so unbelievable. It's dude, Oklahoma whoops Alabama in this game, maybe. Like maybe it might happen. Alabama got shocked. They got put on their back during Georgia, and they could do nothing about it. Um, Alabama's butthurt. They're sad about the SEC championship. I don't know if they truly deserve to be in the SEC championship. Um, but man, I just Oklahoma, like this is a hungry, hungry defense that I truly don't see Alabama's offense thriving in this game.
The only thing that I can take away that spins positively towards Alabama is having that extra prep time between the SEC championship and this. It's about 2 weeks that you have to prepare instead of 1 week. And we see that certain coaches in bowl games and playoff games, certain coaches thrive having that additional timing. And Kalen DeBoer, I think, is due that amount of credit if you saw what he did with Washington and their run, kind of being an underdog throughout that 4-man playoff. But I'm not saying that it's impossible for Alabama to win here. I just think not only did Oklahoma win that game on the road, and now they get to play at home in an electric environment, but John Mateer had a phenomenal start to the season, was the Heisman favorite through almost the first half of the season. He had his hand injury, hasn't looked the same since. He now gets this additional 3 weeks before the game. He gets to get healthy, get his hand. He had a rough game against Alabama, so we're expecting him to be better than that, better than 138 passing yards. So I think with that, coupled with time favors the defense. Timing between games favors that. This is a defensive minded team in Oklahoma and an offensive minded team in Alabama. It's going to come down to Kalen DeBoer and offense with Ty Simpson against the Oklahoma defense. And I think defense is going to win this matchup. I think that Brett Venables has shown that his defense can make the stops when needed, especially when it comes to third down. And I think playing them not only once, but now twice in just a 5-week span, this all favors Alabama. I think the health favors Alabama. The timing, not Alabama, favors Oklahoma. And I'm going to boomer sooner. I'm going to take Oklahoma to win and cover the spread. So
But at the same
that
time, like, dude, Ty Simpson could come out and just shock the world. Like it's so possible. But like you said, I mean, the defense wins these games, and I think Oklahoma just has a way more powerful defense.
I agree with that. But moving on to the second round, there are 4 teams that had a bye. Indiana being the 1 seed, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech. Out of these schools, these 4 teams with the byes, who is your pick to win the national championship? Is it one of these 4 teams?
I mean, out of those four, I'm taking Texas Tech out of there. I don't think they're doing it. I don't think they're appearing in the national championship to start off with. It's honestly between within those four teams, it's Georgia and it's Ohio State. Like those two teams want it so badly. Ohio State, oh my gosh, coming off the Big Ten championship. Oh my God. Talk about a squad that wants to destroy any team that comes their way. Georgia coming off just whooping Bama. It's like, yeah, dude, everyone should be horrified of Georgia now. I think Georgia, Ohio State, I think those two are great contenders. As much as I love the Indiana storyline, I love the Indiana storyline. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm a fan of everything that's going on at their program. It's going to be a harsh reality. It's it's going to suck. It's going to suck to see, but man, it's you get to this stage and it all just changes, dude. The game plan, the playbook, it all changes on this stage. As much as I love every single thing about Indiana, I just I don't have high hopes for them. Ohio State is just way too hungry of a team. Georgia is too powerful of a team. Texas Tech, I don't really think deserves a bye. I think as much as they had a great season, I don't think they deserve a bye. I think they're going to get humbled. more than anything in that second round. Ohio State, Georgia is definitely my two out of those four. But
I concur with that. I think if you look at the bracket specifically, Indiana is getting hosed by this. They have to face the Bama or OU winner, which is not going to be an easy matchup regardless, especially if they face Oklahoma like we expect them to. Their offense versus that defense, probably one of the best offenses, if not the best, versus one of the best defenses, if not the best. Would be a great matchup, would be great TV. But if you look at the bottom side of the bracket, Georgia will likely face Ole Miss without their head coach. Ole Miss's only loss this season came against Georgia. So I think that favors Georgia. And then Ohio State is going to have to play either Miami or Texas. Not an easy matchup. So I like Georgia the best from all these. But I also think Oregon's a sneaky one. Oregon playing Texas Tech, possibly, assuming they beat JMU. Oregon playing Texas Tech, I think again the offense versus defensive matchup. I think Oregon would take that, and then they'd have to play. No, there is no easy road when it comes down to the quarterfinals and the final eight. But I think it favors Georgia getting to face a team who at this point would be the only team without a head coach, and that being Ole Miss. You could say that they hired a head coach, but we all know that it's not the same without Lane Kiffin there. So, and then they get to face either a Miami, Texas A&M team that has had to beat the other and beat Ohio State, or they have to face an Ohio State team who just lost to Indiana and then has to play a Miami or Texas Tech. So a beat up team who's gone through a lot. So I think it favors Georgia when I look at it. So that's going to be my pick. And also just Kirby Smart has the pedigree of winning big games, has built a dynasty, if you want to call it. Dynasty would be if he won it all this year, I guess, in proper terms. But that's the first round. That's our picks for the national championship. We'll see how everything pans out a week from now. We'll see if, maybe a JMU or Tulane can pull an unreal upset. You never know when these types of things, an injury could happen.
it's also
But
it's so wild how much of like the coaching story has become so like it's the primary source of conversation in this playoff is this coach like Lane Kiffin this, Lane Kiffin that, DeBoer this. It's it also just like, are we not going to bring up Ryan Day? Is he not like? Does he not want this just as much as Kirby does? I understand Kirby is like, dude. I mean, no one there's. I don't think there's a more dominant coach in this playoff than Kirby. But Ryan Day, dude, like that guy is hungry. And I know Dan Lanning's just as hungry. But I have a sneaky feeling that Ryan Day is going to pull some strings in this playoff and take his team to the national championship. Do they win that
I don't.
national championship game? I don't know. I just think like this Ohio State squad, the talent is there. The talent's always been there. It's just tweaking just little things, and I think they make it to the national championship. I mean, dude, how? I mean, Ohio State has consistently 30 ball teams all throughout the season. You turn on an Ohio State game and you turn it right off because it's a blow off. Like it's unbelievable. I've been an advocate for Ohio State this year. Like you look at their lines week by week, 38 and a half, 42 and a half, and you confidently and calmly take them because they cover. They cover these spreads. I understand this is a playoff scenario. This is a playoff game. Ohio State has a insane energy coming into the regular season, going into the playoffs. I think they have a great playoff run. I mean, I don't know if they're going to win the national championship. I think they're more than capable of so. It's going to be tough, but they have the talent. Like they have more than talent on that squad. Um, it's going to be getting past teams like Georgia, teams like Oregon, um, teams like A&M. Uh, it's going to be tough, but I think they have a chance. I think Ryan Day wants it badly. But Kirby just way more than capable of winning the national championship this year. I'm taking Georgia to win the national championship. I think that's my final answer. Give me Georgia. Give me the dogs.
Well, it seems like we are aligned on we both think that Georgia is going to win, but Ohio State obviously has a chance. All the talent is there, coaching. Of course, they have a chance. Those two teams could face off against each other in the semifinals. If you like the show, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, tell a friend, and drop your own takes on our Instagram and TikTok at the Fifth Quarter Media. We see all of them. We'll be back soon with more coverage as the college football playoff plays out, as well as our regular NFL coverage. Stay tuned as the NFL playoff race comes down to the wire. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.